You know, we spend so much of our time trying to remember more, right? Like cramming for a test, trying to remember that person's name. But have you ever just stopped and flipped that question on its head? What if you couldn't forget at all?
Just think about that for a second. Every single moment of your life, every laugh, every sunset, every conversation, all perfectly saved, ready to be replayed whenever you want. I mean, that sounds like a legit superpower, doesn't it? But here's the twist. What if that ultimate gift is actually the ultimate curse?
All right, let's start with the good stuff. Let's really lean into this stream for a minute. What would life actually be like with perfect recall? We're about to dive into the incredible upsides of a mind that just never lets go. Okay, picture this, your greatest moment. Maybe it was scoring the winning goal, or seeing the look on your family's faces at graduation, or that feeling of your first love. With perfect recall, you wouldn't just remember it, you could relive it. Every sight, every sound, every single emotion, just as powerful as the first time. Wow.
And then there are the practical benefits, which would be just staggering. You'd be a social superstar, right? Remembering every single name, every little detail from a conversation you had years ago. You'd ace every test because you'd remember everything you've ever read. Honestly, in a lot of ways, you'd be totally unstoppable. So here's the key thing to understand about total recall. Your mind, it wouldn't be like a scrapbook of your favorite moments. No, it'd be this enormous, unchangeable archive. Nothing ever fades, nothing gets softer around the edges, nothing is ever lost. Every single bit of data is there, perfectly preserved, forever. But, and this is a huge but, this is where that amazing dream starts to show its cracks. Because if your mind is an archive that saves everything, well, that means it keeps the bad stuff just as perfectly as the good stuff.
Yeah, this really gets to the heart of the problem. We're not just talking about your greatest hits anymore. We're talking about every awkward silence, every dumb mistake, every embarrassing thing you've ever said or done. Imagine all of that, every single painful moment, replaying in perfect, high-definition clarity for the rest of your life.
And this little comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? For us, in our reality, memories soften over time. It's how emotional wounds heal. It's how we move on. But with a perfect memory, those wounds stay forever fresh. The past isn't something you can learn from and reinterpret it. It becomes this permanent, unchangeable record that you can literally never escape. It's like a prison. So this isn't just about you struggling inside your own head. No, this inability to forget would absolutely wreck maybe the most important part of being human, our relationships with other people. I mean, just think about how this would actually play out in real life. Let's say you have a huge, terrible fight with someone you love. Now imagine it's years later, but you can both recall the exact hurtful words, the specific tone of voice perfectly. That wound, it never gets a chance to scar over. So, how do you forgive someone when the pain feels just as raw as it did in that moment? The resentment just becomes permanent. And that really is the paralyzing question, isn't it? If every little slight, every mistake, every betrayal is etched into your memory forever, forgiveness starts to seem, well, kind of illogical. And that doesn't just go for forgiving other people. How could you ever forgive yourself? You'd be forever trapped by a perfect recording of your absolute worst moments. Okay, so all of this brings us to this really beautiful and kind of counterintuitive idea. What if the fact that our memory is flawed isn't a bug at all? What if it's one of the most essential, most human things about us? Let's talk about the grace of forgetting. Look, we all want to grow, to become better versions of ourselves, right? And so much of that growth comes from looking back and reinterpreting our past, seeing an old mistake in a new light, or understanding why something happened as we get older. But how can you possibly reinterpret a past that's a fixed, permanent, high-def recording? You can't. It's set in stone. So what's the bottom line here? It's this. Forgetting isn't a bug. It's a feature. The ability to have our memories soften, to have them fade, that isn't a flaw in our wiring. It's a critical feature that allows us to actually function as human beings. Think about it. Forgetting is what lets us heal from real pain. It's what makes forgiveness even possible. It's what lets us learn from our mistakes without being totally trapped by them. And maybe most importantly, it creates the space we need for new memories and for new versions of ourselves to emerge. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. After everything we've just gone through, think about your own life, your own memories.
If you had the power, right now, to press delete on just one of them, one mistake, one painful moment, would you? And what does your answer say about the true hidden value of being able to forget?